Namaskar. I'm Harpreet Kaur and I welcome you all to our live and interactive session on virtual labs. You are watching us on PM eVidya channels 6 to 12 and also on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. Well, this session is specifically meant for the students of class 9 and the subject we are taking today is chemistry. So we are taking up the subject and though we're catering to class 9 students, but the session of virtual lab is open for all. Anybody can participate, anybody can learn about virtual labs and they can log on to virtual labs and perform simulations. Now, it is very important to understand first of all what virtual labs are. There's so many viewers of ours who have joined us today for the first time. So let me tell everybody that Virtual Lab is an online application tool that allows you to perform simulations in a virtually simulated environment, in a controlled environment. And you can perform simulations across various subjects. It gives you an opportunity to perform experiments at your own time, pace, space, and convenience. All you need is a stable Wi-Fi connection and an IoT device, and you are good to go. There's so many I would say questions, so many different type of simulations. There are videos, and of course there is a lot of content. We are not just talking about the experiment part, but we are also talking about the theoretical concepts. What all virtual labs hold, we will discuss them in detail, because in the days to follow we will be bringing up different subjects and different simulations. Today, the topic that we have taken up for class 9 students, specifically for chemistry, is demonstration of simulation to show separation of components of a mixture. Now, what exactly are we going to learn here? Mixture, separation techniques, components. So there are different terminologies that have been used here. And if you're also equally curious to learn about virtual labs, you can give us a call, write a message, or send us an email. You can participate in the session with your questions, suggestions, and feedback. Please take down our phone number, which is 8800440559. We also have a dedicated email ID for you, that is diksha.training at CIET.nic.in, and on our YouTube handle NCERT Official. You can always send us your questions and suggestions in our live chat box. You can also post your comments and let us know how you felt about the session. Now, to throw more light on the topic today and to perform simulation, we are joined by our guest in the studio. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Sunita Gulia, Senior Academic Consultant from CIET NCERT New Delhi. Ma'am, namaskar and very warm welcome to you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I have already apprised our viewers about the virtual labs, though it's just the tip of an iceberg. I'm sure through simulation we will learn better.
Yes.
So please tell us that the simulation that we are about to perform today, that is separation of components of a mixture, what is it all about?
Yes. Thank you for the brief introduction, Harpreet, about the concept of virtual lab. So, let me start with the today's topic. So, as we all know, that everything around us is made up of matter. Whether Harpreet, we eat food, but like the air we breathe
Yes.
and water we drink, everything is made up of matter.
Hmm.
But just in our daily life, if we see, the matters, they generally don't present in the pure form.
Yes.
They usually exist as a mixture.
Okay.
For
And
example, like if you like say milk we drink is a mixture of protein, fats, and other
oh
nutrients.
yeah, same is the case with the blood that's running in
Yes,
our veins.
yes, definitely. Even the soil, it is a mixture of
Yes.
sand, clay, and other organic
True.
matter. So now we can say that mixtures are everywhere around us. Now comes the important question. If everything around us is mixture, then how can I get the useful component from that particular mixture?
So we need to have some kind of separation techniques.
Yeah, definitely. For that, even just think about it, like if I want a clean drinking water, what I will do? I will separate out all the impurities
Yeah,
by simply by boiling and filtration.
that's right.
So that we do in our daily life.
Hmm.
Similarly, if like when we get the salt from seawater, it is done with the help of evaporation.
True.
So all these techniques we are using in our daily life also. Now, same exactly these techniques we are going to learn and perform through simulation in our today's experiment, and we will see that through these technique how the physical state of the matter, whether like it's a solubility and the states of matter, these properties of a matter, they helps us decide which method is suitable for separating out the components of mixtures. So this will be this is going to be very fun and interactive session, I can say, where we will see how the science will help us to help us in differentiating or separating out the components what primarily look inseparable.
Absolutely. And as you said, that there is no one size that fits all. There are
Yes.
different separation techniques, and in order to get the purest form of that particular element, we need to know about these techniques. So, Dr. Sunita, before you go ahead with the simulation, I want to ask you, where do we find these virtual labs? Because as I already mentioned, in the opening part of the session, that this session is open for all.
Yes.
So, do we need to sign up? Can everybody sign up? Is it free of cost?
Yes, I will answer one by one for all these queries.
Okay.
First of all, these virtual labs are freely available. We can access these virtual lab through our Diksha portals. That is our national digital platform. So for that, you can see on the screen, I need to just simply write diksha.gov.in, and I'll come to this kind of page. I'll click on Diksha. So this is the home page of our Diksha. So after scrolling down, we can see there are many focus area of Diksha, and virtual lab is one of them. So I'll click on the virtual lab tab. Now here you can see this is the home page for the virtual lab, and we can read about the importance and why we are implementing these virtual lab as our national education policy NEP 2020. And in continuation, we can see there are the contents aligned from grade 6 to grade 12.
Okay.
So we can today's session is about grade 9, but we can explore other classes also. So in order to access, now one time registration is required. You have to create an you have to do single registration on Diksha portal. One time registration is required, and after that you can access each and every learning material that is available on Diksha.
That's lovely.
So after I have logged in already. So I'll click on explore tab. Now after that I'll click on the English medium. Here content is available in different medium.
So there are different languages available.
Right now available in Hindi and English. Soon in other languages it will be
the
out.
content will be available.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'll click on the science. So here you can see this kind of page will come. Since it is it asked me to sign up through my email address, password, or already I have logged in the Google is my Gmail account is already open. So I'll click sign in with Google and I'll proceed further.
It's an open resource and all the features are accessible free of cost.
Definitely. And after clicking on the continue tab, we will land on this page. Here we can see on the right hand side there is a panel that contains that is table of content covering all the activities and experiment that are present in class 9th. Now today's experiment is about the separation of components of mixture. So I'll click on this tab, and here we can see this we will click on this link and will come to this page. So here you can see, if I'll click further, here you can see there is a theory available. So here we can read about the theory part also. What is the theory behind these separation techniques?
You mean to say before going for the actual simulation, I can learn about the concept?
Yes, definitely. The teacher can help or the student can study on their own also.
It's self-instructional.
Yes. So in the beginning, I mentioned you that matter, it exists in 3 states, solid, liquid and state. So through pictures, the student can easily relate how these solid, liquid and gas states are differentiated. And these states are interconvertible. We can see solid can change to liquid, liquid can change to gas, and gas can change to solid. Now here we can see, if you look on the screen, here you can see there is a mixture. Now here there's a separation techniques are mentioned here. There is one is the sublimation, other is filtration and evaporation. Now here one I want to tell on what basis we are going to decide like which technique we have to perform. So that basically depends on the states of that particular components, that physical property of that component that are present in the mixture. They guide us which method we are going to select here. So one by one, I'll see that sublimation, just briefly I can tell my learner, sublimation is a technique in which solid changes directly to the vapor state without going to the liquid state.
I think that the diagram
Yes.
which you showed earlier, the triangular one,
Yes.
talks about the same. Yeah,
Yes.
this one.
So this is basically, you
Yeah.
can see solid is changing to the vapor without going into the liquid state. So here we will see which component which are present in our given mixture, we are perform this kind of sublimation technique. Similarly, the next technique is the filtration. And here again, the components and the physical state of the matter will help us, and same with the evaporation technique.
Okay.
So I can assure my learner that after learning all these technique, they will basically acquire the skills.
Wow.
Like they can easily differentiate, they can easily separate out various component whichever is given to them on the basis of the states of matter.
Lovely. I'm looking forward to all these simulations, how and what kind of technique you're going to use. And as you said, it totally depends on the kind of material we have
Yes.
at hand. Right.
So now proceeding further, we can see there is a procedure. So procedure is available in both real lab as well as in the simulator lab. So the student can easily will get familiarized what kind of reagents and equipments are required, so they can easily perform the experiment when they go to their physical lab. Now there is an animated video also. Now coming to the simulator, that is the core component of the virtual lab. So here you can see this is the simulator tab. Here we can see, let me zoom it further.
Okay.
So here we can see this is the simulator setup here. So here you can see there is a drop down button where we have to make the selection of the mixture.
Okay.
The mixture is given here. So if I'll click here, you can see lots of mixtures are given here. So I can choose any of the mixture. Now one thing I want to tell my learner here, that if you look at the mixture which are listed here in the drop down, here there is one common, like the camphor, anthracene, naphthalene, all these have similar properties. Basically they are the sublimative. So I'm going to pick one of the mixture here. Okay. On which I'll perform the sublimation technique. Right. Now here we can start the sublimation. I'll click on start sublimation tab.
Now this solid is getting converted into gaseous form.
Yes.
Okay.
So here we can see, we can take the help of the procedure setup, and there is a help tab. We can click and it will list out the steps also. Now the next step is that I will place my china dish containing the mixture of camphor, sand and salt on the Bunsen burner, and wire gauze is placed here. Now the next step is that I will click on this separating funnel and I place it on the china dish. Now here we can see, you can see if we look closely, the vapors are rising up because the solid, that is camphor, it is changing into the vapor state. So we will stop the flame once the it changes into the flames are stopped rising. We will turn off this flame. Okay. And after that you can click on the next tab. So what we are going to do here, you can see this is my separating funnel on which was kept on the china dish. Now here the solid camphor, it has changed into the vapor state. Now after some time, we will cool it down for few moments and we will separate out, because the camphor which changes into the vapor state, on cooling down its vapor solidify immediately. So we can separate out the solid easily by scratching from the corner of these separating funnel of, basically there is a filter paper. So we'll take out with the help of spatula and put it on the plate. Now here we have separate out the camphor. So here we can learn that camphor has been separated by the process of filtration, sublimation. Right. So we have performed one technique here and we have learned how the physical state of the matter helps us to decide which technique we are going to use here, because these camphor, these are these, just I mentioned, these are sublimes which changes into the vapor state directly. Okay. So we have performed sublimation here. Right. Now next technique, now we can see initially the mixture had camphor, sand and salt. Now what is left, Harpreet, in the mixture now?
Camphor is separated, sand and salt.
Sand and salt. So we are going to perform the next technique. I'll click on the filtration. Now you can see the mixture, leftover mixture is of sand and salt. So as we all know that sand,
Yeah.
that sand is insoluble in water.
Ma'am, I request you to kindly zoom it out a bit for our viewers.
Okay.
So that they can also see it very clearly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here we can see that the sand, it is insoluble. As we all know, sand is insoluble in water and salt is soluble in water.
Yes.
So we are going to put this mixture in a water and stir it nicely. So whatever is soluble will filter out, and what is insoluble will remain
at the bottom.
No, they will stick to the filter paper because they will not separate out.
Okay.
So now next step is that I'll take the beaker of this and they pass it through the funnel in which filter paper is there.
Okay.
So here we can see in my beaker there is a filtrate. Basically, filtrate contain the dissolved salt and whichever is component is insoluble, it is left in the
filter paper.
Yes. So next step is that again we will take out the solid residue.
Yeah.
And put it here. That is basically a sand. So we have separated sand by the process of filtration here.
Right.
Now the last component that is we are left with is
salt and water.
Salt and water. Salt and water. We can easily carry out here the evaporation technique here. So I'll place this, pour this mixture of salt and water in my china dish over the flame, and it will evaporate. Water will evaporate, and the residue which will be left, it will be salt. So after few time we will separate out the solid from this china dish, and we will take out the salt. And this is how we can easily separate out all the components that are present in our mixture. Right. So this way, even we can anytime we can click on the reset tab and we can complete this. We can perform the experiment with new mixture. Now we can take any other mixture here. There are many mixtures are listed here. Like there is a mixture of naphthalene, sand, and sugar. There is a mixture of even ammonium chloride we can take and perform the experiment, and we can check ourselves which method we are going to apply here.
Right. You know what? You said something in the beginning. It's going to be a fun simulation. It's indeed a fun simulation. I was actually imagining myself performing the same in a real physical laboratory. Okay. So now I'm done with the simulation. I have understood all the techniques, and I know that which to choose. What's next in virtual lab after this?
Yes, that is a very important question. Like we have performed the experiment, we have learned the activity. Now what is going to be next? Now we can do a self-assessment.
Okay.
We can go to the evaluation tab, self-evaluation, and there will be an MCQ quiz will be there where we can check whatever we have learned. If there is any gap area, we can go back to our simulator.
All right.
We can revisit those concepts and come back again.
Wow, lovely.
So let's start with this.
Sure.
So here we can easily see the first question is we have to tell the process in which solid changes directly into its vapor state. So we have learned
sublimation.
Yes. Now identify the substance which undergoes sublimation. Here we can see, I told you naphthalene is a sublimes easily, so it is a naphthalene.
Out of these.
Yes, the substance which sublimates and used to protect warm clothes.
Naphthalene balls.
Yes, even we use in our daily life. We can see that how we can easily correlate all these concepts. And the process used to separate salt and camphor from a mixture.
Yeah, salt and camphor. So I guess sublimation only.
Yes, we can. Okay. Even Harpreet, if I marked, let us suppose.
I'm not sure.
Yes, let us suppose I marked some attempts. I'm randomly placing the marking the answers here. I don't know the correct. Even I do that. What we will get, we will see this thing now. Okay.
So you don't have the pressure to get it correct all at once.
Not at all.
Okay.
It will give us instant feedback. It will tell us which gap areas are there. We need to revise those concepts, and we can easily see that with the feedback we can anytime learn and come back again.
So you mean to say if some of my answers are incorrect, I really don't know. As you said, gap areas, I can either go back to simulations or can go back to the theory part as well.
Yes. Even there is an animated video.
Okay.
We can refer to that video if any steps we are not we are not clear with the step. We can go look to the animated video, and it help us to understand all the steps. Like how we have to perform this experiment, how we have to carry out the simulation. So it will also guide us.
And I think the best part is when you perform a simulation in a virtual lab. So when you go to the physical laboratories, you don't spend that much of time in just rehearsing. I mean, you're really quick because you know what steps to follow, and you can accurately get the desired results.
That is one major, I think, benefit that we get from these virtual lab. Even Harpreet, there are many experiments which are not doable in the physical laboratory, especially when we deal with some hazardous chemical like concentrated sulfuric acid, concentrated hydrochloric acid. So in all those cases, we need some kind of guidance, some kind of supervision. So in these virtual lab, we can carefree, we can perform the experiment in a risk-free environment, in a control, even variables can be controlled here. So that is also one another benefit. So this is how these virtual lab helps us.
And there's one more thing I really want to ask before we go back to those assessment questions and get them correct. Ma'am, sometimes what happens that it's difficult for us to develop our interest in a particular subject, probably because we're unable to relate the concept to the real life scenarios. Do you think virtual labs help us develop the interest and help us pursue the subject in the higher realms also, just because we're getting everything right in front of our eyes? There is nothing like abstract here.
Yes, that is the one point. That is why we are helping our learner to understand how to use these virtual lab, because just you mentioned there are many concepts, especially in chemistry, which are very abstract, which at first sight we think it is not relatable. But virtual labs helps us because it giving us a visualization platform that helps us to relate those concepts with real life. Just what we learned today, Harpreet, we learned that how the physical states of matter guides us in picking up the separation technique.
That's right.
Now these separation technique, even if we I mentioned you that in our daily life, we are we are getting the clean water by using the boiling and the filtration method. So this is how we can easily, basically these virtual labs, they are not just helping us to perform the experiment, but they are also giving us the knowledge and also giving us the skills to think critically how these methods can be used in our real life also.
Great. So, ma'am, we can go back to those questions since we have some, moments left with us, and we can get the right answers now that we are well versed with the theory and the simulation. Also, ma'am, one more thing. Suppose I'm done with the simulation part. I have checked myself also, and I want more references on the same. I want more practice material, more content. So, do I have any such option here in the virtual lab?
Yes, there are resources. Many resources are there in the virtual lab. Here we can see, if I'll click on the resource tab. So here you can see many resources, links are there, books are there. So we can, learner can refer those sites also for better clarity. Even there is a feedback option, Harpreet. Let us suppose I have some query and I want to give some suggestion to the programmer, to the developer, that what kind of suggestion, what kind of improvement can be done from the teacher, and as a teacher, from a teacher perspective or from a student perspective. So like today's experiment was about separation of component of mixture. So it will help tell us like how, in which area you want the improvement. So we can easily give our feedback to the developer, and they will incorporate
those things. And ma'am, I've also seen that when you take the self-assessment questions, at times there is a timer also, so you can check your speed, because in exams you have to really catch up with the time limit that you are presented with. Secondly, we have understood about the virtual lab through the perspectives, through the student perspective, through the lens of a student. You're a teacher, academician yourself. What is one thing that is extremely important for teachers also, so that they must encourage students to pursue virtual labs? How it is making their life easier and their job easier?
Yes. So first we need to understand that it is not a replacement of any
Yeah.
teacher, not a replacement of any physical lab setup. They are basically enhancing the actual laboratory experience, and they are also basically are helping our teacher
Right.
to get familiarized with the new technology and how to integrate these virtual lab into their lesson plan, into their classroom teaching, because that basically save their time.
Yes.
Also they can utilize their resources very effectively using these virtual labs.
True. And last question that, I'm done with the experiment. In fact, I performed all the simulations related to class 9, but I'm still in class 9. But I want to explore more. Can I go to the content of class 10, 11, 12?
Yes, definitely. The concepts are very interlinked. Like
Yeah.
if I, for example, let me give
Yeah.
one example. There is a experiment of how to determine the enthalpy of neutralization
Okay.
when we deal with the strong acid and strong base.
Hmm.
Now that is a class 12th experiment.
Okay.
But student is not familiar with the concept of acid and base. They
Hmm.
can go to the lower classes of grade 7, grade 8, and they can revise those concepts, and
Nice.
then they can come to the class 12th practical.
That's lovely. I mean, so there is no dearth of content here. You can choose whatever topic you want to, whatever language you want to do the simulation in. And of course, you can always go back, brush up your skills, and you can always go ahead and complete the thing before time. So, Dr. Sunita, it was a fun session, and I learned a lot about virtual labs. I'm sure our viewers also enjoyed this session. They learned about it, and they're very keen, like me, to actually sign up for the virtual lab and perform the simulations of their choice. Remember, you can choose across the subjects. Thank you so much for your time and
Thank you.
contribution. Thank you. So, my dear viewers, it's time for me to wrap up this session of virtual labs. Let me tell you once again that today, for class 9 students, we took up the subject science or chemistry to be precise, and we performed demonstration of simulation to show separation of components of a mixture. I hope that it's going to be one fun session for you, but it's not the end. Tomorrow, we will bring you another session. And what are we going to bring? So this session will be for class 12 students. We'll take up biology, and the topic will be demonstration of simulation to show adaptations in xerophytes and hydrophytes. Well, with this, I'm closing this session here. But before I leave, let me give you quick informations about the textbooks. They are available on Amazon, Flipkart, and NCERT website. I'm talking about grade 4 and 7. And now it's time for all of us to take a quick look at the schedule, what's all coming ahead in the day. So we are through with our session on virtual labs. In a short 12 from now at 12 p.m., we will bring you our session on inclusive classroom. Subject will be science, and we'll talk about heredity. 2 p.m. is the time for a session of Urdu, followed by a session of English, where we will learn about colors, part 1 at 2:30 p.m. 3 p.m. we will bring you a session of mathematics, and we will learn about the length. We'll measure the length. And at 3:30, we will bring you a session of Hindi, and the topic will be Onam Ke Rang. 4 to 5 p.m. is the time for our online training program. This week, we are talking about digital wellness, and we will end the day with our session Sahyog. The topic is right there in front of you. And with this, it's a wrap. This is me, Harpreet Kaur, taking leave of you, and will join you soon. Namaskar.